Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Sahar Omar. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist practicing here in the state of Texas. In today's video, I wanted to discuss with you guys the 4 different types of friendships that we see. A lot of people who at least come to therapy with me, they find themselves confused with different titles. We have, again, in our English language, we're very rich with words, but they're not very clearly defined. And sometimes we find ourselves in difficult situations where we're not able to either express ourselves correctly or even state what our intentions are correctly when we are dealing with people in general. And most people, outside of finding themselves in that confused, disoriented place, they also truly struggle with how much information to share with people as well. If you're a people pleaser, we'll make a video on like what is people pleasing and how do you overcome it as well. But typically people pleasers struggle to have healthy boundaries, and boundaries is what keeps us a little bit more safe when we're dealing with people, especially toxic people that are not doing any kind of psychological work. So it is very important to recognize the language that we're using and also correctly label our experiences as well. All right, so this is a diagram that I use with all of my clients. In the mental health space, we are technically, I would say, only recognizing these 4 different types of friends. There are variations of these 4, like lifelong friends. These are friends that you've known all of your life. We don't focus in the mental health space the quantity of things, like how long and the circumstances that came about that kind of made you choose this person as a friend. We're more interested in understanding or helping people understand the quality of the relationship, right? What are you talking about with your friends, and how are they respecting your boundaries? Are you vulnerable with them? Can you trust them? Those are the things that we value more in the mental health conversations that we're having with our clients, not so much how long you've known somebody. So with that being said, the 4 types that we have, I just want you guys to envision you being in the center, and the further out the circles go, the difficult it is for the person to know information about you, okay? So the center, the closest person to you is going to be your best friend. Typically, this category is given to relationships where there's absolute trust in the relationship, meaning like you can trust this person 100%. You're able to vulnerably be vulnerable with them, like express what you're struggling with, what are you feeling on an emotional level, what are you scared of, for example. And there is unconditional support that this person is willing to give you as well. They're there through the thick and thins, right? So they are just very helpful, supportive person where your body feels safe with, okay? The second layer out, we consider this a close friend. Close friends are a little bit further out from a best friend in the category, in the sense of they know things that you're going through, maybe not so much things that you've been through in your past, where a best friend knows exactly the things that you've been through and the things that you're going through currently. With close friends, they know stuff that you're going through right now. Maybe you might feel like semi-safe with them and semi-vulnerable with them, not 100%. In these relationships, also, they can be very comfortable, like you feel comfortable with them in a private setting or in a public setting. And on top of that, they are very supportive and guiding you in like difficult situations. They can give you a healthy feedback, and you can receive that healthy feedback from them as well. Okay? And then the next layer out is social friends. Now we are withholding a little bit more vulnerability. With social friends, the connection here is based on interests and experiences that you guys are having. These are people, for example, that you spend time when you go hiking with, for example, or yoga classes. You just do social activity with, right? So like your friend's birthday party, you meet other people and you have a connection with them, and now you are doing like a girls' night or guys' night out where you're just spending social events with them over and over again. We put them in that social friend category, okay? So typically, social friends do not know anything about your personal life or things that you're struggling with and you're overcoming on a daily basis, or things that you've been through in the past. And with that being said, they're the relationship is very positively oriented typically, and it's just more of enjoying each other's time or just spending time with each other. No vulnerability, no emotional support, okay? And then you have your furthest out, which is your acquaintance. Acquaintance friendships are minimal emotional investment and also personal investment as well too. These are people that you know of and you know of each other's existence. You probably pass each other's path all the time, but you do not know anything on a personal level and you're not spending a lot of time. There's no vulnerability whatsoever, okay? These are people that you typically, I like to give this example, you're very polite with them, very friendly, very pleasant. You might talk about the weather or certain sports, who's playing this weekend, but nothing on a personal level, nothing on an emotional level. Now, the challenge for a lot of my clients is first recognize these 4 categories and then put people accordingly, right? So for me as an adult who's in her mid-30s, I can honestly say I do not have any best friends. A lot of people are naturally just not healed, they're not healthy. I cannot trust 100% anybody that I've met so far in my life. So typically, if you ask me, I would say as an adult, my best friend is myself. I trust myself. I know things about me. I'm not bullying myself. I will not criticize myself, right? I have a lot more close friends. Close friends are people that I rely on and I trust. When I'm struggling with something, I could go to them, vice versa. Also, social friends as well too. Friends that I only do like dinner parties with, and we hang out and kind of travel and do certain activities as far as like sporting activities goes, like we hit the gym together and stuff like that. And then most of my coworkers, people that I work with on a daily basis, are my acquaintances, okay? These are people I know and I see them all the time. We're very friendly, but I do not have any personal experience with them and I do not invite them all the way to my core, okay? So now spend some time as an individual, assess your dynamics based on trust and vulnerability. Can you share information without this person weaponizing it and using it back on you? Also, a lot of times people mock our experiences. Those are people that are not safe. It is okay to place them further out depending on their level of engagement with you. Now, the other piece that is so challenging is conversations that I see all the time on the internet level of can men and women be friends? I think this is where the question I'm going to throw back at you guys. For you on an individual level, what types of friends are you with the opposite sex, right? So this is a personal preference, not so much on what is right or wrong. What works for you will not work for somebody else. So I'll give you guys a personal example again. I personally do not have any best friends or close friends who are males. Typically, men in general, or the opposite sex for me, because I'm a heterosexual woman, they find themselves a little bit more interested in me the more they know about me, and I do not want to put myself in a predicament where I have to set boundary again and reinforce and pull back from that dynamic. It's just too overwhelming psychologically. But I also met people who are capable of being friends with close friends and best friends with the opposite sex, and there is clear understanding and people treat each other as like a brother and sister. No emotional vulnerability in the sense of like no attachment in an awkward way or where one person now is romantically interested, right? So to each their own, that's where I come back to. And in therapy, I'm not arguing with our clients, or we don't argue with our clients whether they should be friends with, close friends with, or best friends with the opposite sex or not, right? That to us, that's an irrelevant conversation. It's more of, could you do it? And if you can, that's awesome. If you cannot do it, okay, time to move forward and put somebody in a different category. So that's the type of friends that we have. I highly encourage you guys to come back to yourself, self-reflect, ask yourself, am I categorizing people correctly in my life? And also to ask yourself that question, can you be friends with the opposite sex as well? And what type of friend? All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.